Okay. Hi, Claudia.
Okay, Shammi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. No, so nice to be here with you today.
Yeah, and we are both wearing teal color.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. Yes,
great,
Shammi.
great. So basically, would you like to, I want to tell other people also who are watching this that I
Mhm.
had a call with Claudia, and Claudia is working on the idea as a purpose coach, and her work is inspired by what I understand from the book called True Purpose, and maybe her own life. And so she had helped me in me figuring out my purpose. So there was a program in which there were 8 calls, and in which there were a lot of questions around what's around my childhood, around things that I enjoy, things that are meaningful for me, and then leading it to different understanding different parts of purpose, figuring out the purpose, and then contextualizing the purpose in the actions that I do now, and how to see it as a compass. So it was very useful for me, and it gave me direction, and it's helped me shape my work and my personal life also. So as we are doing this program, Being Me Loving You, I wanted Claudia to share a bit about the value of figuring out a shared purpose in relationship. So that's why I'm happy to have you here. So can you share a little bit about your work around purpose, and what excites you about it, and why do you find it meaningful, you know?
Sure, Shami. Well, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me. As you said, it was an honor for me to accompany you in in the process to find your life purpose. For me, it has been a privilege not only knowing you, but also knowing more about your country and about your culture, and obviously the beautiful job that you're doing with the Instagram and within your community. So it for me, it has been a wonderful life privilege getting to know you.
Great.
Um, so yes, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am from Colombia, South America originally, but throughout my life I have lived in various countries. I have lived in the US, I have lived in Peru, I have lived in Switzerland, in England. So that has given me like a very nice global perspective also of what life is and how we can be interconnected culturally. My background is in business, but since 2015, I have been working as a consultant and as a coach. I'm certified as a life coach, and also I was certified last year after going in through some courses throughout 2 years. I was finally certified last year as a life purpose coach through the True Purpose methodology, and this is an institute that it's based in the U.S. Led by Tim Kelly and other obviously very well-known coaches. And throughout this methodology, what I do is I accompany people to find their purpose.
Mm.
Okay, so before I go into that, let me tell you a little bit more about myself. I am, as I told you, I'm Colombian. I have been married for 30 years, and I have three grown children: Natalia, who's 25, Catalina, who's 23, and Nicolas, who's 20. So obviously, the family is very, very important for me. So when you called me to speak about relationship and having a purposeful relationship, then obviously this was very important for me. It's a very important part of my life. So, um, what is purpose? What is purpose for you, Shami? After we went through our process, what is purpose for you?
So what I discovered was the purpose is something which is very core from inside. It's like a which kind of helps us like sprout like a seed. So, and something which we, as you also talk about it, something that gives us meaning and joy in what we do. So something like that, you know. Yeah.
Yes,
It's
exactly. That's
also
what it is.
and it's also a compass, you know. That's what I want to say. Yeah, that's it.
Yes,
Mm.
yes. It's really like a state of being, like a state of being that gives us meaning to our life. And when we are doing something that gives meaning to our life, we have a feeling of tranquility and a feeling of peacefulness and joy. Okay, so it's really we are all born with a purpose, but sometimes because of we go through life and trying to achieve and achieve and achieve no milestones and achieve things that we never pause to stop and see, okay, what is the purpose, and what is it that actually gives meaning to our lives. So what we do with this methodology is we go through a process in order to find 4 elements that really make up what life purpose is. And the first one is the essence, no? And the essence is who I am, is what differentiates me from other people around me and from other people in the world, no? Because we all have a uniqueness, and that's our essence. The second element is our blessing or a gift. We're all born with special gifts, no, or talents, but we should be able to give those talents to others, no? And that's when the idea of service comes to mind. And the third one is this big thing that we came to this world to accomplish, no? And this is the mission. And finally, it's like those words of wisdom that we want to share with everybody. So that's our message, no? And it's when we are able to discover these 4 elements, that's what makes up our life purpose. Okay, so it's very related or to our job or to our work or what we do in life, obviously also to our family. So when we are living in purpose, we are living in a state of peacefulness and joy and tranquility. Okay, so it's really like a state of being. It's something that we feel within us. Okay. And when we are able to find or to discover this purpose, then we are meant to live a purposeful life, okay? And it's a life that gives meaning, okay? And whatever we do, we try to find meaning within the activity that we're doing to be able to ensure that we're living a purposeful life, okay? So when we talk about relationships, obviously relationship is a big part of what purpose is, no? Because purpose, we can live purpose within 4 main pillars in our life. Okay, the first one is ourself. So that's why it's so important what you were saying at the beginning, to do a self-reflection process where we're able to discover our purpose, my purpose. What is my individual purpose? No, what am I here in this world to do? So that's the first pillar. The second pillar is, once I have my purpose, then how can I share this purpose with others? No, and obviously this is where the relationship comes about. It's how am I going to live my purpose with my partner, with my family, with my children, within the community that I live. Okay. The third pillar is the work. How am I going to serve, or how am I going to do my work, whatever work it is that I do, and how I can integrate my purpose into my day-to-day work, regardless of what job I do. But if I have clarity of what my purpose is and how I can impact others, then I'm able to include my purpose in my day-to-day. Okay. And finally, service. Okay, it's the other very important pillar, is how I can put in service my talents, my gifts, and my purpose. Okay, so the second pillar that we mentioned is relationship. No, and it's when I have a partner in life, it's so important first that I have clarity of what my purpose is, and then we can both build a shared purpose, and in order to be able to do that, there are some, I don't know if I want to call them requirements, but there are some aspects that we should ensure. It starts first, it's the I, and then it becomes the us, the we. It's our purpose, our shared purpose, no? And in order to do that, there are some aspects that we must have in mind. First of all, obviously, think, what is our life plan together? Okay, whether it be having a family or a children, building a life together, but without or continuing to prioritize ourselves, the couple, because sometimes when the children come along, then we become second, because all of our energy is thrown into the children, and then we start even forgetting our own purpose. Okay, so it's important to first not forget what my purpose is that I have already discovered, and then what is our life plan as a couple, And then there are other aspects. Yeah, for example, being willing to be vulnerable. No, and it's very tied to our feelings, into emotions, and having the willingness and the openness to identify our feelings and to speak about our feelings. You know, the fears, or the joy, what gives us joy, to be able to forgive. You know, and forgiveness is a very important aspect of what a relationship is. To be able to share our spirituality, whatever it is, from whatever religion or whatever um, aspect for us is important regarding our spirituality, it's important also to share. And there are other requirements and other aspects that we can talk about more in depth. But in general, it's just to be able to ensure that we have a shared purpose. Okay, but before we have a shared purpose, we have to ensure that we have discovered our individual purpose. Okay,
Yeah,
so
and
it's
why
a beautiful
and
topic.
it's like, just as in an organization we say purpose is the reason for which the organization exists, when
Exactly.
we talk of an organization. Similarly, when we're talking about relationship, a big part of the relationship is the reason for the people to be together is because they want to also achieve or experience, not in a very goal kind of a sense, but what is the shared experience that they want in their life, or the shared values that they want to have in their life. Because there are
Shared
decisions that
values.
people take. Because in my call, somebody asked me that, oh, I want to do this and my partner wants to do this, and we are so different, or we have different strategies. So of course there can be differences. We are not expecting people to be carbon copies, but in the values, what is the common ground when they want to decide? When they want to decide whether we should send the child to school or not school, which school, or if they want to decide what is the kind of food they want to eat, if they want to decide how they would like to travel, if they want to decide what kind of work they're going to choose, you know, so or yeah, any life choice. What is the product you're going to buy? Which supermarket are you going to go? So all these
Mm-hmm.
are how they become conscious choices and our preferences, and how in
Exactly.
that preferences, the diversity, you make space for each other and see where is the common ground, because you might not you might not be as excited about something, but you can go with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that helps people navigate the day-to-day life,
Exactly.
once it
It's the
gets
day
that.
to day. It's the day to day, and to ensure that we don't get lost in the day to day, knowing that um, we encourage, the routine, and it's something positive. It's not something negative, and we're able to live the day to day challenges and the day to day joys, but obviously knowing that there's a purpose behind. No, and as you remember, Shami, when we did this process, this methodology brings a very important aspect, and it's that we tap into our inner self, into our subconscious. Remember that we talked about our
Mm,
ego and our subconscious. The idea is that the purpose we discover comes from within us, and it's
mm,
from within our inner wisdom and an inner being. No, and in order to do that, remember that we worked with a trusted source, and that trusted source is usually our instinct or our intuition, or we'll talk about that a little bit more in depth, but basically it's like our intuition, what we have within us, and we have to learn how to trust that intuition and how to trust that inner voice, that gut feeling sometimes that we have.
yeah.
And then as a couple, we should also learn to trust that inner
Each other's
voice
inner
that we
voices,
have as
and
a couple.
yeah.
Yes, because after we spend years together as a couple, or we live experiences, then we start to have also a common voice, a common feeling of what our inner being also as a couple is
Mm,
telling us. No, so the idea with this methodology, with the purpose methodology, is that we start to listen to what our inner being is trying to tell us, and it's that feeling that we have. So we have to be able to trust, because the world, especially now with everything that we're living, um it becomes so complicated, you know, and we have so much information coming from all over the world, and because of the internet, it's so much information, that we have to try to eliminate that once in a while and just go back to basics, no, and believe in ourselves as a couple, and believe in me, and believe in that instinct and that inner voice, what the message is. So I think now more than ever, it's so important to work on a strong relationship, no, to have common goals, but
Yeah.
goals that are not
Exterior,
only
they're not
towards
just
the
exterior.
having,
Hmm.
but more towards the being, you know. It's not just because I have to have them. I know it,
And
obviously it's important, but sometimes we just spend our lives, you know, working and working because we need to have, and we need to have, and we need to have, and our being is just lost in that
it's also
journey.
like honoring the inner being of each other, because the inner being is like almost like a child or something which which has a
Exactly.
life of its own, and
Yes.
support each other, get connected to their own purpose,
Mm-hmm.
and see that together what you can explore. Because and so together you create the third entity, the relationship. You
Mm-hmm.
each person is one entity, and the third is the togetherness, the intersection set that is there. And yeah, I can imagine that that it can make life easier for people in their relationship. To do you think so, that how when people have a clarity of purpose and they would be more mindful in their choices? Do you believe something like that?
Absolutely, because when we go through the process of finding our or discovering our purpose, it brings so many answers to our life, you know,
Mm.
and it gives explanations to what we're doing, and to those aspects that we feel at ease. You know, it's that feeling that we, when we're doing something, we feel like everything is flowing. And
Mm.
when that happens, it's because we're living our purpose. For example, in your case, Shami, the beautiful work that you're doing with our community, you know, when you found you discovered your purpose,
Yeah,
things started to flow. No,
it
and
became
things
more
have started.
effortless for me, that I don't have to
Exactly.
fight,
It's effortless because things start to happen. And so it's, if I have my purpose and my partner has his or her
Yeah.
purpose, then obviously
So
we're
I
going
get
to
it.
have, it's like a compass, you know,
I
like
think,
a compass.
yeah, yeah. And I think the effort also, I hear you about the compass part. But the effort also, the quality of the effort changes. That effort is more like a high octane effort. It is, so it's not that in a relationship also, when you work together,
Mm-hmm.
you would be putting in effort. But when you are connected to the purpose, the the purpose gives you the reason to put that effort. And
Exactly.
when you have enough reason for it, and the why of it's clear, then that effort doesn't look like really out of the blue or really hard, and so it goes with the flow. It's much easier.
Exactly. It's like it's a compass or a roadmap, you know, and it's a roadmap that is obviously going to have obstacles. It's going to have some portions of the road that are going to be
Yeah,
not very easy
yeah.
to transit. But if we have the end goal, then we know what we're doing, and we have a purpose, and we have that clarity within
So,
us, then those obstacles become easier to
so
no to
imagine a world, imagine a where people meet, a couple meets another couple, or one person meets a couple, or one person meets a person. And just as we ask people like, so what are you engaged with? What is your passion? So it could be a very general question. So yeah, so what is the shared purpose of your relationship? So this can
exactly.
become practice for people to first figure it out, share it with other people, live it in different forms, and also be excited about other people's purpose, and see like how the diversity of different forms of relationships holds the beauty in this whole diversity. So great.
Exactly.
So anything else that you would like to share, which
No, Shammi, I think it's a beautiful topic. I think it's something that I really am very happy that you are doing this with your community, because it's a topic that is so important. You know, the relationships are the basis of society. You know, are the basis of every society. So as well as our families, you know,
How you bring up
it's
kids,
a foundation.
it all depends on how the relationship is, you know, and everything around you. Yeah.
Foundation. And if we learn to live our relationship from a why, you know, from a
Yeah.
asking ourselves why are we together, why do I want to be with you, why am I attracted to you, why, no, it's instead of what are we going to accomplish, you know, because sometimes we spend our lives looking at first just focusing on the what and the how, and
Yeah.
the why is lost. But if we start with the why, it's just going to be make everything easier,
So
you know. And
it could be a hard question for people, but it might also want some hard work. But probably that's why your work is really valuable. So it makes it easy for us to figure out, you know, and it doesn't become like a very tiresome exercise to figure it out, because intuitively when you come together with somebody, there are some things which you are looking for. You may not have a language for it, you may not be aware of it, but it must be fun to like then make it articulate and share it, and yeah, have it framed on your wall. So it's a great.
exactly, we're able to share that why
Yeah.
as a couple. I mean, just things will and we will be able to flow better as a couple, you know, and to start a life together with a good foundation. Hmm.
Great. So thanks
Yes.
a lot. Let's meet next Saturday, which is around
Shami, my pleasure.
what is the date on the next Saturday? We decided the date is third July.
You what you were going to confirm the
Yeah,
time.
it's
So
the next Saturday,
next Saturday, the 4th. Yes, July 4th.
4th
It would
July
be.
at
Mhm.
6 o'clock in the evening, Indian time. From 6 to
Okay.
8 p.m. This call will be there. So people are welcome to join us for the call, and they can reach out to us, and then we'll send you the registration form and you can register. So thanks,
Okay.
Claudia, and look
Excellent.
forward to seeing
Shami, will be an
having
honor
a good
for
time
me.
with you. Great.
Okay. Thank
Thank
you. Take
you.
care, Shami.
Yeah.
Have a good day. Okay.
Okay,
Bye
bye.
bye.
Bye.